Everyone thinks I'm sick because I'm not talking. I'm not sick at all. I was sick a couple of weeks ago. And because I'm in my pajamas as well. It's because it's night time here. And who gives a fuck if you... what you guys think of me, if you guys see me in my pajamas or not. I sometimes consider when wearing my pajamas to a Ustream talk about how unprofessional it must look, but then I'm like, fuck it. I want to wear my pajamas. Can I call? You're not going to get anywhere if you call, or we speak about this. In non-duality, your mind is going to become so flexible that somebody not speaking when they're meant to be doing a talk is normal, or somebody not producing something when there's an idea that that's what's going to be produced. It's not even normal, it's just the way it is. It's not even questioned. The mind becomes so flexible. There's nothing to hold on to, there's nowhere to go. There's only ever what's happening. This is all you have. This is it. You don't have tomorrow, you don't have yesterday. There's this. You don't have inside, outside. You don't have their fault and your fault and right and wrong, and good and bad. And what I need to get to and what I don't need to get to. All you've ever had is this. What is? You don't have anything else. Everything else goes. You can't hold on to anything else. This is all you have. Doesn't mean that the body doesn't get angry or doesn't have emotions or doesn't have feelings. Doesn't mean there's not preferences. But this is it. This is home. This is the expression of energy, and that's it. I don't know why, you'll never understand why with a mind. It just is. It just is. Okay, so there's two other people in the PJs. PJs are, somebody said, well, PJs. PJs are like the pants that you wear to bed. This is PJs. So two other people are in their PJs. I totally, hey you, if you want me to read for you, you can send me emails if you like. Oh, thanks Laurie for doing that. I totally went with it, nothing else, just is this, no anger, no wanting it different. I enjoy the silence but I hope someone calls in. My silence is always broken because I hear myself, someone breathing, then I'm back in the body. I then feel disappointed that the silence has ended, though I know that silence is really endless. Feel a wave of love. Oh, nice. Are you sad about something, Lisa? So you associate sadness with not speaking belief. Hey Julie. Hey Lisa, we can speak today after your talk if you have 5-10 minutes, otherwise tomorrow evening. What is better? Love. Julia. No, we can do it after the talk. That's great, Julia. The silence is wonderful. That's from Cloudburst. Hey Kareem.
Hey, thank you for your time.
That's okay.
I have a question and I've written it down.
Could I just get you to turn your video off?
Oh, yeah, I will.
Thank you.
Wait.
Just because my internet's not really strong.
No. Yes, it's off.
Thank you.
Okay.
I like your thing. It says relax, nothing is under control.
yeah, I like it too. Do you feel responsibility towards your environment?
No.
So, for an example, let's say you're thrown out of your house. That's a human standard. By human standards, that's not a good thing. And when this happens, our reality isn't changing, but our mind is programmed. Oh wait, just a second. I'll put your stream off because I'm hearing two things simultaneously. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Once again.
Yeah.
Let's say that you're thrown out of your house. By human standards, that's not such a good thing. And when this happens, reality isn't changing, but our mind is programmed to get the best out of our situation in order to survive. So do you experience the fix to these problems in a non-dualistic way?
Sorry, say that last sentence again?
Do you experience the fix to these problems in a non-dualistic way? A non-dualistic state of mind?
To any problem or to the problem that you said?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Specifically to, let's say, this problem. Yeah.
Okay, you have to repeat the problem again then because I switched off. Carry on, say it again. One more time.
Do you feel a responsibility towards your environment? That's basically the main question.
So the problem is, if you are thrown out of your house, then probably there's something inside you that says, I should probably find a house, otherwise it will be hard to survive.
Yeah.
The way you try to find the solution of finding a house, it's like a lower truth problem, to this extent. But do you experience these thoughts in a non-dualistic way, or
no, just in a normal way? If there's a problem, then the thoughts will just. So say if there's a seeking for a house is in like wanting to rent a house, then normal thoughts just arise about it, to look in the paper, to look on the internet, to look for the best price. It just carries on like normal, that functioning.
And how do you still feel the need to express your creativity? So if you look at the way humans have developed ourselves, everything that has come has came throughout a space of need, and urge to creativity, to just do stuff, and by feeling a need, you create something, and by the things we've created nice world for ourselves. And it's difficult for me to understand how people have a mental, have a dualistic state of mind, still keep that creativity going.
Who have a non-dualistic mind, but I don't consider myself to have a non-dualistic mind.
But you have not a dualistic mind, but a state of mind.
A state? What would my state be?
Non-dualistic, because
I don't know where you've got that saying from, because I've never claimed to have a non-dualistic mind.
Oh, no, I don't mean that you have a non-dualistic mind, but the way you view things is different than the way other people view it.
I don't know that.
No, but okay.
I don't know. You can never know other people's views, or you don't even know if there's somebody in the other bodies, or if they're just cardboard cutouts in your world. You don't know anything like that.
Yeah, but are there still differences in what you experience as good and not good? So let's say if you're with your boyfriend, for example, doesn't that feel better than when you're in a shitty situation?
Yeah.
Or is it all the same?
No, it feels better with the boyfriend.
Yeah, so there is a difference in experience then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if so, do you feel the need to have more pleasant experiences than
Of course, I prefer pleasant experiences than unpleasant experiences.
But if you say that everything, that reality just is, and you don't know, what is reality, and we're just experiencing it, then why do you still feel the need to do pleasant things if you don't know if the pleasant things are really pleasant things to do? It's really confusing for me to
Your question's confusing as well.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what happens is there becomes this assumption that you are the one experiencing pleasant things, and that you are the one that's job it is to control life and move forward. And then that can change, and there can be experiencing happening, and there can be a body experiencing being used as a vessel to experience what happened, experience what happens, but it's no longer belongs to somebody, and that's all the change that I talk about. But the body, so if you say I'm going to refer to the body. So when you asked me, do you still prefer pleasant experiences? I say yes, because I'm responding from the perspective of the body. When you say, do you, the reply comes from the perspective of the body, and the perspective of the body is to always prefer pleasant things. Yeah. But the difference is that that the body is just an experiencing machine. It's just a machine designed to experience this. But it's no longer who you are. And when the you gets taken out of being the body, when you're no longer the body, then the edge of that wanting changes. So before, the wanting was, I need these things, I want these things, and everything believed that you were somebody wanting things, you were somebody experiencing happiness. But when that changes, then there's still going to be the body, which prefers things and experiences pain in certain situations and likes things over other situations, but it's no longer you. Like, this body's never going to be blank. This body's never going to experience anything as blankness. Like, I'm not going to kiss my lover and it's going to be a blank experience. This body, I'm going to say this body just so we can try and talk about it easier. This body's never going to stroke the dog and that's going to be a blank experience. There's going to be loads of experiences when stroking the dog or kissing the partner. There's going to be lots of different sensations appearing. But the difference is they're no longer appearing for someone. They're just appearing in this. They're another appearance appearing in this. But the body's always going to react to certain situations, and there's either going to be pleasurable chemicals or unpleasurable chemicals being expressed in the body. The body's always going to prefer pleasure over pain. That's the way it's designed. It's designed not to walk into the fire. It's designed to walk towards food and warmth and love and pleasant situations. It's not designed to walk towards negative situations. But sometimes negative situations appear, and when there's no longer somebody in there in which this is happening to, then it doesn't go into suffering. It doesn't go into that dynamic of this shouldn't be happening. This is a bad situation. Why are you doing this to me? But situations can still be painful, but it's no longer for anybody anymore. It's always going to be somewhere in the spectrum of pleasure and pain. And when that person stops registering it, you don't even really notice the difference between pleasure and pain, but the body will always be moving towards pleasurable situations. So it's not just going to kiss everybody. It's not just going to want to kiss all the men in the world. It's going to have particular feelings for particular men or women, depending on which way the body is programmed. And it's going to have pleasurable chemicals with certain men, and then therefore it's going to settle or make a relationship with those certain men. It's not going to become a blank experiencing machine. There's always going to the body of the instrument is designed to experience this. So it's designed not to have a blank reaction to this. It's designed to experience this, a full-on range of experiencing, of feelings, emotions, thoughts, physical sensation, visual sensation, hearing sensation. All these different sensations, but it's not happening for someone. There's no difference between the inside and outside, and it's not personal. If there's a terrible situation, if your lover then screws 10 people in front of you, that might be a painful experience for the body, but it's no longer for anybody anymore. So it's not like your lover is bad and you're a victim. It's just a happening. And it might be that you say to your lover, don't do that again, I don't want this. That's what the body responds. But it's not happening for anyone anymore.
But do you still sometimes have the feeling that there is somebody inside of you? And if you do, how do you cope with that? So how do you recognize what's in the moment? Yeah, every time you...
But it felt like the opposite. It didn't feel like I coped better and better with the sense of self. It felt like over time there just got less and less of someone being here. And maybe sometimes there is a someone popping up, but there's not a then someone registering that and worrying about it or trying to get rid of it. It's just all happening. It's not that you need to deal with the separate self. What situations are you talking about? Like...
Well, for example, if you feel...
no, but I meant for you, what situations are you talking about?
For myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for example, if I get angry or I have to do something with work, then I really feel the need to do something about it, and I'm working through the sense of I, and when I'm relaxed, and more open, then that feeling of I isn't there as much because
and that's exactly what suffering is, because pain maybe equals work. Work maybe equals pain, and that might always be the situation. The work for Karim might always be painful. Like if you're a physical labourer and you have to do 16 hours a day, that might always be a painful experience work.
Yeah.
But the one that wants to change that, wants to change the anger, wants to change the painful situation, is part of the problem. It's not the solution to the problem. So that person might be saying, if I'm more liberated, then I wouldn't experience this towards work. And then it tries to imagine liberation in order to get out of the pain of experiencing work. Life is a spectrum of pleasure and pain. That's how this body registers everything.
But isn't because in the past you've searched for this that you came to this point? So if you were before you had your awakening, let's call it that, you were searching for for a liberation.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment that you got it, you saw these things. But by feeling that need to experience liberation, you are at the point. Yeah, you are now where you are. So in a way, that need, created the space for you to have the awakening, right?
I don't know.
So yeah, and yeah, that's what I think it's difficult about it, because the way you speak about reality is, it's nice. I can comprehend that, but the need to grow made made it possible for me, for example, to talk to you and to have these kind of insights. And when I feel that need, then when my body feels that need, then yeah, why shouldn't I take it serious?
Is that what you interpreted that I said?
No, no. What I think you said was that there is no I, and because there is no I, because there is no I, that's the fuck. I lost my sorry.
Oh, that's always happening to me. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes the best bits in these talks is when all of us forget about what we're talking about. It's like we think we're getting somewhere, we think we're discussing something, and then we all forget it and we're like... I don't know really how the flow of things work. It's all working perfectly, and it's not... It's like, you're right, it's a perfect... Whatever appears is the perfect motion of things. But eventually, life is so compassionate that it will just always bring you back to here. No matter whether you think this or that or whatever you think, it will always bring you back to here. You'll just be left in absolute amazement and awe at the incomprehensibility of it all.
But do you sometimes still question your own beliefs or your own thoughts?
Yeah.
Because, but how do you cope with that thoughts? Because if you say, the way you say it, it sounds like an absolute thing, like something, that's completely real. And if you doubt that part of, your own story, then you're not looking at it the same way. So how do you question your own beliefs by still feeling that non-duality?
Because what I think that non-duality is absolute doubt of everything.
Yeah, but if you say doubt, then can you define doubt? Because if I think about doubt, it's more like, I don't know if this is the right thing. Am I not just...
Yeah, and I think that's a really beautiful place to be. You'll never be able to argue with someone if that's the case. You'll never be able to go to war if you doubt everything that you think.
Yeah, but if you say that you doubt everything you it's such an absolute truth. Because if you speak about these things, it feels like you're pointing out certain aspects of reality that makes you see things in another way. But if you say that you're still doubtful about certain aspects of life and every aspect of life, how can you be so sure about the things that you say?
I'm not sure at all. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is it that you know now?
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, I know shit.
Yeah. Same here. I know shit as well.
Yeah. Well, then we both.
Sometimes answers get answered to people and certain things get said. But if you listen to me for long enough, I always even deconstruct everything. Like I don't know any definite things, and still here I laugh all the time at the thoughts that appear in this. So a thought comes up and it says something like, this was a funny one that happened to me and my friend last week. we went to the ticket machine, and I live in Holland, and we were convinced that we'd worked out how the ticket machine works, and we were like, yeah, we did the ticket machine, and we were really happy with ourselves. We get in the car, we get to the place, and we realised we'd taken the wrong ticket. We'd taken the receipt rather than the ticket, and we couldn't get out of the car park. So it's like, life is so compassionate. It never lets any thought last.
Yeah.
Ever. Like anything. I doubt everything. I doubt whether I'm liberated. Like, I don't think that I'm liberated. I doubt whether I'm unliberated. I mean, we could change the word doubt to a more positive word, because I know that most people maybe associate doubt. I doubt whether I'm alive or dead. I doubt whether this is consistent. I just doubt it all. I have no freaking idea what's happening. The only thing that's a continuous is this. It's always this. No matter where we think, where we go, where we wonder, where we imagine, that's the only place we ever come back to, is this. And we're not even sure if we ever went anywhere.
No, exactly. Yeah. I feel like I understand it a bit more, but also I'm more confused. But thank you a lot for your
but confusion, but it sounds a negative thing, but confusion is a sweet place. It leaves out all arrogance.
Yeah, yeah. And you're a really beautiful woman. That's also something I really want to say.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you, Kareem.
Okay. Thank you. And
thanks.
have a nice day.
Thank you, and you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You weren't rude. Canassa. Hard name for me. Hey Lisa, can I have the second at Skype? The sound at Skype? I'm not sure what that means. It's the kh that I find hard. So my dog's called Khaleesi, which is KH. So that's canas. I'm not very good at reading anyway. It's not anything personal. So I think it's canas. Canassa. Marcus, there was a lag on Ustream and I could not hear you properly. It's better now. Hey Barbara.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. How you doing, Barbara?
I'm doing good.
I always like your voice.
Oh, wait, let me turn off. I have you on two different things going. Just a minute. Okay. Thank you. And you know what? I love your idea about online non-duality dating. That would be fun. I could give you hints on how to do it.
I think it's a gold mine if anyone wanted to set it up, because a lot of people, I think, sometimes come to my talks like live, because you could just watch them on the internet, and I think a lot of the time they come to them live because they want to actually meet a partner. They're not really so fussed about seeing me live or not.
I know. I guess that could be a very good ulterior motive. But, you know, it's so funny because I've been doing this match for, 6 months or more now, and it's, they appear and then they disappear and they appear. And it's so funny because I tell them up front, I'm like, today I might like you, tomorrow I might not. I mean, I don't know, And of course, at first they think, "Oh, that's so neat." And I go, "Yeah," until it happens.
Yeah.
You know, then it's not so neat anymore. They're like, "What happened?" So, but it's, you know, it's like, how do you know? I mean, I even had one guy. He booked a trip to Cancun, and he goes, "Okay, if I book this trip, are you going to go?" And I said, "I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to do till I do it. You know, anything could happen." And so I did take out trip insurance, which ended up to be a very good thing. You know, because how do you know? How do you know anything?
Yeah.
You don't. You know, and I love, like, what you talk about, all the illustrations with the dogs, because the dogs just, whatever you give them, I'm like, when I feed them every day, I think, you know, they're totally trusting that I'm giving them the right amount of food. Or they're totally trusting this, or they're totally trusting that. They don't know.
Yeah.
They just are.
And you can take them. You can take them anywhere. Like, I take my dog anywhere, and she never untrusts. Like, you just go in this thing that moves the car, and like there's lots of different scenery passing by, and I take her to a new place, and she's always like, "Ta-da!"
Yes. Yeah. Hey, and this place is just as good as the last place.
Yeah.
There's just new things to explore. And it's just like my little 3-year-old granddaughter, Uncle Clay, came to visit from, you know, Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and all of a sudden here's Clay with his dog. She doesn't question it. It's like, "Oh, Clay, this is your Uncle Clay." "Oh, okay, my Uncle Clay." He doesn't know what that means. You know, this guy's appeared, and all of a sudden he's playing with her, and then he leaves. You know, he's gone.
Yeah.
But it's just like when you lay down for a night's sleep. I dream so wonderful. I just had the most magnificent dreams. And it's like, I tell my match guys, I'm like, I really don't even need to do this dating stuff, because my dreams at night are just so exotic and so fun. So I don't even know why I do this. But, you know, when you lay down, you're just like, I wonder what I'm going to dream tonight. Because you have no idea. You have no idea what those dreams are going to be. And it's the same wonderment that you wake up to every day. You have no idea what's going to take place. And why would you even want to try to control it? Why would you even want to put your hands on it? Because you don't know. You don't know which way anything's going to be, and it's all perfect the way it ends up.
Yeah. I'm funny as well.
What do you mean?
Well, I always find life incredibly funny in its randomness.
Yes. It's so random. It's so random. And if you look, I mean, like, go to Walmart, go anywhere, and look at all the sites that are appearing and disappearing. And then compare that to your night dreams, and they're just as random.
Yeah.
They're just as random, you know? And I think it's just fascinating. And like you were saying the other day, just moving your hand, watching the hand move, that is just such a trip. How does that work? How, you know, do all these things come into play?
Yeah. It's a trip.
It's a trip, and it's so perfect just the way it is. And it's so hard. I mean, I hear you talking, and I hear the questions, and it's so hard to explain the you not being there.
Yeah.
Because everything is heard from me, or my perspective, or how it's going to affect me.
Yeah.
And when that dissolves and it's just what's being heard, or it's just what's happening, and that's just so hard to explain, because how do you explain that something all of a sudden isn't there anymore?
Yeah.
You know, it's like you say, it's comparison. It's like, well, before it felt like this, and now it feels like this.
Yeah.
But you can't explain that which hasn't been experienced, because there's no comparison to ground it
And
in.
it kind of fucked, because I could say to you now, like, well, what I tend to do is I tend to avoid questions that talk too much about me or something, or I'll dismiss it or remove. But even saying that, like, if I were just to say that to you, then what that implies is, to somebody else, is that I think that I'm acting independently, and I think that I'm choosing to do that, but that's completely not what the experience is. But the body talks as if it's a person, as if it's a separate person. The body talks in a really normal way. Like the body carries on functioning like, oh yeah, I need to keep my dogs apart after, otherwise they fight or something. And that sounds like that's something that you're choosing to do. So you're kind of like, when speaking about this, you kind of, but it's all perfect. So sometimes I just speak in a really regular way with someone. I just speak, and it just happens, and I just speak in reply to what they say, and I don't even try to go on about there is nobody there, because it's impossible. It's like trying to tell someone that there's the clouds are actually aliens or something, or the clouds are actually alien ships. Like, you can't. They'll be like, no, they're not. They're just clouds. Like, you can't.
Right.
You
right.
just
You can't speak of that which isn't known.
You can't.
You can't.
You just have to. You just reply to whatever you're talking with. Like
right. And then also when this is being spoken, it can seem so heartless.
Yeah.
You know, it's because
and unhuman. And
yes.
Unhuman, I try my best to do a mix, or it's not even me that tries the best, it's just here there's an effort to try and make it sound human as possible, and not too existential or theory-based. Like, I can feel the body wanting to make it sound more human than it can do. Like, it can sound very unhuman.
It can sound is eccentric and weird and crazy, you know. And it's so funny because I'll watch movies and there'll be characters in, like the mother or whatever, and she's crazy because she's like, oh, well, this doesn't even matter, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's how I sound like to my children, you know. But because it comes off sounding crazy, it comes off sounding, you know, like you don't have a clue, which you don't.
No.
Don't anymore.
And then it sounds like a big contradiction, because you're always speaking like, oh, I'm trying my best to do this, and then that sounds like a great contradiction, because it's so obvious when there's not someone there that obviously it's not you trying, but it's like the effort is trying, or you can't speak about it
well, because you're so limited with language, and you're still walking as a body, and you have to speak the language that a body speaks. You know, that's just part of it.
But even that, you have to speak what the language speaks. It's like, that's so misleading for somebody that's looking through a brain of doership. But it's so, that's how it feels. Like the body tries its best, but it doesn't imply that somebody's doing it. Even though if the body's trying, or the body is putting effort, it doesn't mean somebody is. And it's so beautiful that there is nobody, because then that means everything is appearing in this, and this is who you truly are.
Right.
Even so, and that's the love bit.
It's woven.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the movement of everything. It's just everything moving.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like you can go out and walk on a day where the leaves are all, you know, tumbling, and the dogs are running in the leaves, and it's just like, this is so perfect. It's all the movement of everything.
Yeah.
And it's all being carried by the movement. And like when you're trying to say, I am doing this, when you're speaking those words, there's just a knowing or understand. I don't even know what it is, but you realize it's just a carrying like everything else. You know, you're just being carried like everything else. But that's just hard to explain. But it's like when there's no longer a belief there to ground it, then the words are just happening. It's just speaking. And yes, it sounds like you're saying things that are contradictory, but it couldn't be any other way.
No. And it'll slowly begun to get heard. It seems like it's like a gradual thing, seemingly, of these ideas collapsing. Even though at first it might be like, what the hell? She says this and does that.
I know. I mean, with mine it was gradual, but then there was I just remember so clearly one day just standing in my bathroom and going, well, if there's no motivation, if there's no purpose, if there's no anything, then what is there? You know? And it was just, there's this. Well, how long can there just be this? You know, and how limited is this? That the experience has been that this is just never ending.
Yeah.
It's never ending. And it doesn't need to be explained. It just
is.
It is. It just is. It just is. But it was so funny because, you know, I was with one of my Match.com guys, and he has 4 postgraduate degrees. And I was talking like I talk, and he says, "Oh, you sound like these 2 philosophers." Okay. You know, because this has been around forever, forever and ever. You know, it's nothing new. It's what has always been. You know, it's just what always has been. And it's like, anytime I try to talk it or put it in words or whatever, then I'm going, what do I know? What do I know? What is known? These words don't add up, you know? So what can I say that is, I don't know anything. I don't know. I just don't know. Because I'll even start to post something on Facebook and I'll go, how do I know that? I don't know that. I don't know that anymore. I don't know anything other than this. And this is enough. It's enough. It's more than enough. I love it. I love being carried from day to day. And, you know, I mean, one guy asked me, I mean, they always ask me on Match, what are you looking for? And I said, I'm not looking for anything. It's just, he says, well, how would you describe Match? Then I said, well, a boyfriend appears, and then he disappears. And then he appears, and then he disappears. You know? That's how it is. And it's the energy of trying to make something stay. I can't have that energy anymore because I don't know. You know, it's why hold on to anything. What are you holding on to? What is it that you would even be holding on to? But it's like what you talk about, the energy manifests itself, and we're so used to, because we can see it, touch it, smell it, taste it, declare it real.
Yeah.
And it's so illusionary, you know, so then you're like, what is real? What could possibly be real? It's only ever this.
Yeah.
You know, but you said that for, I mean, like I listened to you for like a year and you were saying that. You were like, it doesn't get better than this. I was like, this? What the fuck is this? You know, what does she mean by this? You know, and then that knowing just came. You know, I don't know how it came. It just, oh, this.
People always say that. What's this, Lisa? And I'm like, this.
This. It can't be better than this. What is this? You know? I love it. I love life. You know, it's so funny because, like I said, going to sleep at night and my dreams are just great. I mean, they're great. And I'm like, you know, I could just stay asleep as much as I stay awake.
It's no
and
different,
have this
really.
fantastic life with no effort at all.
There's not any difference, really.
There's not any difference. And the other day, the other night I was having a dream, and I was arguing with somebody, and I said, okay, you say, if you interrupt me one more time, and she did. I go, okay, that's it. You know, and it was so real. But there was no sound. There was no sound in the dream. But there sounded like there was sound. It felt like there was sound. But there's no sound. There's no sound in your dreams. Yeah. It's so funny. Like I took the 3-year-old went to the Nutcracker, you know, the ballet performance, and she's like, tell them to speak louder. I can't hear them. Because to her, every time you go to see something, people are speaking, you know. And she didn't understand why she couldn't hear their words. I don't know why I said that, but that's what came out. Well, I hope you enjoy yourself when you come to the United States. That'll be fun. In Virginia?
Yeah.
Is that where you're going? Yeah.
I'm going to Virginia and Washington, D.C. or Springfield somewhere, and then New York.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, just the East Coast, just a short trip.
Yeah.
I need 10 days or so. But, yeah.
Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be fun. Who knows? Barbara might pop over there. I never know what I'm going to do. But I'm a real homebody. I love staying at home. I mean, there's never hardly any reason for me to get out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like go places. I'll play tennis and all that. But I love coming home to my dogs and my books and just simple life. It's just so simple.
Yeah.
Because it's this. So why put any effort forth for more?
Yeah.
Unless it happens. That might happen.
Yeah, we never know.
We never know.
Tomorrow you might be having loads of effort and you'll be like, nah. See, this is where I'm like, this is where I was saying about doubt, is a thought comes up and says, it's going to be this way, and then it's like the next day you're like, oh, okay. You go on a massive traveling spree.
Ever do something, because who knows? You don't know. But you know, I take my 90-year-old mother-in-law out every Wednesday, and it is so funny because she is so conditioned that I know exactly what she's going to say. Like every time we pass this one sign, she's like, why is that sign there? And every time I mention a restaurant, well, you know what? I figured out what I can eat there. And every time we pass this one store, it's like, why are all these people here? So I can almost go 1, 2, 3, speak, because I know what she's going to say. But are we not all programmed like that? Do we not all? We're just programmed. It's just programmed what we do in this body-mind mechanism. It's so programmed.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess as the mind deteriorates, it's even more programmed. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But I can see myself becoming that one of these days. Who knows? And that's what, you know, why would you put any credence on a mind? Because, you know, Alzheimer's or whatever happens, then what are you? Who are you? What is there? It's all centered around the mind and the body and what happens with that. And that's always changing so much. Which one are you? You know, are you the 6-year-old, the 12-year-old, the 20-year-old, the 60-year-old? Which one are you? And it always got so confusing with all the people dying and going to heaven. I was like, okay, so which one is going to be which one when they get up there? How are they going to see each other? How are they going to know? Because are they going to be the 6-year-old boy or the 60-year-old dad to somebody else? See, that makes no sense. Because nothing makes sense. Really? Truly. Okay, Lisa, it was fun.
Yeah, nice to speak with you, Baba.
And let me know if the online match.com non-duality takes off.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck with this. But I don't know how it could be any different with non-duality. What difference would that be? Oh, I'm a non-duality body-mind mechanism. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have some funky pretending enlightened and not enlightened games, but it would be fun, I'm sure.
It'll be fun. It's all fun. At least you can have the same wavelength to talk about. You know, you both know that you're both crazy and you both know nothing.
Yeah.
So it'd just be coming forth. Okay. Have a wonderful day. Love you.
Love you, Barbara. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Hey, Lars.
Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for calling.
My pleasure.
So yeah, I wanted to talk about how there's always this, there's this need to always watch, let's say, either your videos or someone else's videos. You know, it's almost like I'm seeking for relief, from these videos. But recently, like, even after watching them, it doesn't do any effect to me. I don't know why. it's like, almost like as if it's a crack addict, you know, looking for a fix, and like, now I need to, you know, upgrade my dose or something like that, you know?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's not that it's a bad thing listening to the videos or being obsessed with non-duality, like the last caller or the caller before was saying that there's been emotion to inquire into this stuff, so there's nothing wrong listening to it. And what it can do is, in listening to it, there can be a remembering, or the mind can stop flipping into future and past, and there can be this resonance with what is, with this. But it's not something you'll know, it's not something you can see, it's just that the mind's not going so quickly into past and future. And so that's why, more than likely, that they're listened to again and again, is because it does remind you, not you as in a person, but there is a remembering of this freedom, this stillness that you are, or the this. It reminds you, but it's not really you. There's a remembering of this. So then there's a replaying them and a rewatching them, which is totally okay. It's not a problem, it's not a bad thing. But ultimately, everywhere you go, everything you do, it's always this. It's not something you can get more in the videos. So if you're going home and you're getting annoyed with the traffic because you want to listen to a video, you want to listen to Ustream or something, then you're missing this. You're missing what is, and that's all these talks are about. It's always about what's happening. It's always about where you are, not about where you're going. But the mind fixates on certain things as being more important, and it might have associated these talks as more important. And that's fine if at the moment that's what's happening. Eventually this will just be everywhere. It'll be seen that this was always your nature, was always you, and it wasn't really Lisa speaking to you through the computer. It was energy reminding itself that it's always free. It was energy playing the game of pretending to be trapped in this story of time, and then energy reminding itself that it's always timeless, it's always free, it's always everything and no particular thing. That will play out so perfectly. You'll never understand the process. The person will never get what's going on, but it will play out perfectly. Energy knows exactly what it's doing. It's way more complicated than anything we could comprehend. And there's never an end to this. There's never a full stop to this. It's always energy expressing itself. Always. Absolute creativity. And it's so creative that it dreams in somebody experiencing this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I guess there's nothing to do. I mean,
well, doing will always happen, but the person that imagines it's the doer is the illusion. But the perfect doing will always happen. So listening to this, or reading books, or remembering this when there's deep suffering or something. So the perfect doing will always happen. There's never any doing that's out of line. There's never any situation, any circumstance which is wrong. But it's not you doing it, not you as a limited person moving through time. It's you as energy. It's you as that creative force. Not somebody inside the body, not a separate body experiencing this. The body is just used as an instrument to experience this. You as everything.
so I guess listening to these videos and, you know, it has its place, right?
Mm-hmm. Just like everything. And sometimes when I speak, it makes it sound like it's hopeless and there's no point listening to these videos. But that's not what I mean. But that's how it's often interpreted by thoughts. So she's saying it's not in these videos. She's saying it's not in anything in it it's pointless doing this. And that's not what I mean, but it's really hard to put this into words. It's just that energy is moving in the most perfect way, and it's waking itself up seemingly in a process in time, but then it's, as it wakes up, it's seen that it was never in time. You were always this still freedom which is expressing. It's seemingly playing this game of getting lost in the dream of forms, like in a dream at night. If you imagined, if you dream at night and you imagine that you're the separate body moving through the dream, and it seems like a long dream of 40 years that you've been dreaming that you're the separate body from the dream, and then something in the dream reminds that body that it's not separate, it is all the whole entire dream. Then the dream carries on, but no longer for someone anymore. There's no longer somebody in there believing it's separate, although the body carries on as if it's separate in the dream at night. But it's never really somebody separately coming to remind you. It's never really somebody out there, and it's not something that the dream character does, because the dream character is just the dream character. It's the perfect flow of the dream. It's not something that it's separately done or chosen. It's just part of the dream. And the dream is to dream that it's separate and abandoned and in fear or scared of life, and then the dream reminds that body mind mechanism that it was never apart from the dream, and it was always the whole entire dream. It was the dreamer of the dream, not the separate body moving in the dream.
Yeah, I guess I don't really know exactly how dreams function, and like when we're sleeping, but so you're saying that when we dream, it's like, where does that point of view come from though? Because let's say when I'm dreaming, I'm inside the dream, I only see I guess, well, actually no, not really. I don't really see just my point of view. Sometimes I switch with other characters, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
And mostly you always have to experience a dream through an object. So some one object at least. You never can dream as everything simultaneously. Normally you experience it through one object. But yeah, sometimes you'll swap bodies. Maybe tomorrow you could swap bodies in this world. Who knows what can happen?
Yeah.
And look from a different perspective. Maybe it's all happening simultaneously, looking from a different perspective, or maybe it seemingly goes in time. At this moment in time, you're looking through that body, and then in the future you'll look through a different body. We don't know how this energy is manifesting. It's not how we think it is. How we think it is something that appears in the dream, so that can't be a description of how it's actually working. That would be like a cog in a machine believing that its simple function is the absolute reality. So, like a tiny little bolt in a machine believing its little movement is absolute reality. And then if you zoom out, there's a whole machine functioning, and that's the same with thinking. To think that we understand it is like a tiny functioning in the dream. It can't possibly look out the thinking at the whole dream. The thinking is an experience, not the experiencer. We often think, though, that our thinking is the experiencer, so our description of what's happening is the experiencer. So we say this is a bad experience, and we think that's the experiencer. But that's an experience. That's not who you are. You're not having a bad experience. There's not somebody in there that's not enjoying themselves. There's the experience of thoughts and energies saying they're not enjoying themselves. So they are an experience, not the experiencer. But the way we talk and think implies that our experience is bad, as if there's somebody here having a bad experience.
So the person who feels that they are going through a bad experience, that's an illusion?
That's an experience, yeah. There's nobody actually going through a bad experience. There's always infinity having experiences. Infinity with experiences appearing in it. So the one that thinks that it's having a bad experience or a bad time or it's unjust or this shouldn't be happening to them is an experience, not who you are. But that energy becomes so strong that it takes up the whole screen and feels like who you are. And that's when suffering begins. Is that energy that takes over and believes that the person is the whole show and the person is experiencing this, whereas the person is another experience in the dream. The thoughts and the feelings aren't the experiencer, they're an experience. But that gets confused, and that's suffering. It doesn't mean that the body-mind mechanism changes after awakening. It can do. Often a lot of the trauma and the negative thought patterns change, but sometimes they don't. But there's an energetic movement from this tight, contracted world of me, the experiencer, to experiencing for no one, with the experience of the body-mind mechanism appearing in that. But it doesn't mean that the body-mind mechanism will be perfect in any way or enlightened. It just there's no longer this energy that that's the experiencer. When you are the experiencer as the body-mind mechanism, then there's so much suffering because the body-mind mechanism believes its job is to control life, its job is to control other people, and it begins to have thought patterns like, why are people doing this to me? Why is life doing this to me? And it takes life personally. Whereas the body-mind mechanism is like another leaf blowing in a breeze. It's subject to everything else to move. It's reliant and dependent on everything else to experience. And it bumps into other leaves and it drops out of the sky when the wind stops and it goes off in random directions and it's painful and pleasurable and full on. But it's not you. You aren't that. You are everything. Always.
Yeah, I guess every time I would hear, stuff like "you are everything," it never really made sense to me. I couldn't really make sense of it. But the dream analogy you gave really gives a different perspective on it. Like it helps, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and also now it's an experiential thing. So now, I don't know where you are, let me just assume that you're, say, in your office or something, and there's books maybe in front of you, a computer in front of you, a window, there's light, there's the feeling of the chair, there's maybe the sight of the desk, the hand. Now, from thought, it goes, I am the body experiencing the light, the room, the books, the computer. From experience though, but we get so caught up in thought, everything is simply appearing in experience. So there's the room, the light. But in thought land, and this is the separate self, it goes, I'm experiencing, I'm a body here experiencing the room. But really, there's a whole room and a whole world appearing in experiencing, but it's not for somebody. There's nobody there that could be found that's experiencing this. There's just everything. You can't even find the position of an experience of the wall, of the light. It's not like there's a position where you experience it, only in ideas. And ideas and thoughts give the energetic feeling that somewhere inside the body is experiencing this, but it's not true. So now the sound of my voice isn't peering outside of you. That's just what the thoughts say. It's not appearing inside of you. It's appearing, and you can't find where it's appearing. But it's appearing in this. It is this.
Yeah, it's not. Okay, yeah, it's not appearing outside and it's not appearing inside. Okay.
No, it's appearing. The location
Just appearing.
comes from this thought and this energy of I'm experiencing this inside a body, and this seemingly grows over time. This energy of feeling like you're experiencing this inside a body, and so it gives the energetic expression like there's an experiencer somewhere, but that's the lie. And it's quite a change. It doesn't mean that the body doesn't experience pain or that the body doesn't have neurotic patterns, but it's an energetic shift from being somebody to being no one, in which all of this is appearing. And it's not about making yourself perfect or getting rid of pain or acting enlightened in any way. It's that shift from me in relationship with things to life. And it's the end of all hate. Even though the body might say, don't do this, or I don't like that, or leave the room, or I don't like you, whatever the body does, there's no longer somebody in there with the arrogance of saying, this is me, this is them, I'm better, I'm lower. It's just appearing in this. Like your nature as everything has no judgment. Although the body might have judgment, but that's not who you are. It's just appearing. So don't look to the body or the thought patterns for freedom. We often look to the body or what the thoughts. I mean, I have some really freaking random thoughts, and this body has some random habits, like things it likes and doesn't like. But it don't look to the body for freedom. Don't look for your behavior for freedom. Don't look for your thought patterns for freedom. It's that which everything's appearing in, and it's an energetic shift from me, my body, my world, to everything. But you won't find it in what you think. You won't find it in controlling your behaviors and your habits. Like, I'm sure if somebody followed me around with a camera, people would be stunned at what this body gets up to. Like, it doesn't line up with my imagination beforehand of what she would be like. She carries on being Lisa.
You mean if someone followed you on the streets with a camera?
Or somebody, followed me around, they'd be like, oh my God. and maybe now I'm more extreme because I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny when you were telling me how your voice isn't inside or isn't outside, and I kind of felt that I was trying to perceive it inside or outside, but your voice was just appearing.
Just like everything else, and this is where the love affair really is. It's the end of any judgment of you and your position. It doesn't mean that the body, I'm not talking about the body, but I'm talking about you have no position. The problem is the one that feels like it has a position, and it's just a thought pattern with an energy. Me experiencing, and that's the lie, and that's where all human suffering came from. I wouldn't judge your listening to these videos or anything, because I can feel that it's really beginning to resonate there. Not just with my videos, but any other speaker that resonates. It might feel like an obsession at the moment, but I would just ignore that.
Yeah, I guess.
Play its way out.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it has its place, and I don't know. I seem to really like listening to these type of videos.
It's what this body mind mechanism does. I can't guarantee it, but I would listen. I would play it all night. So I would go to bed and I would just have it. When I was listening, it was CDs. It wasn't YouTube. So I would just have my CD player under the bed. Even my cassettes, actually, it was sometimes a cassette player under my bed, and I'd have a little speaker, and I would just let it play all night until it ran out.
Yeah.
And then I would wake up, and when I was driving, I'd listen. When I was doing the gardening, I would listen, or walking the dogs, I would listen. And it was like, it wasn't even that I was really listening, because I listened so much. It was like, sometimes it'd be intense listening, but a lot of the time it was like, it just was relaxing that person that was looking so hard. So it was like a meditation, but without me knowing it was a meditation. It wasn't an active one. But that might not be the same for other body-mind mechanisms. You never know how it plays out in each specific one.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people have different reactions, you know. Like my sister, she doesn't like these type of videos. She kind of like yawns. She's like, oh. Especially, she was like trying to listen to like Hard Tory once, and she was like, you know, he's really interesting, but like he's so boring. I actually really like Eckhart Tolle. I feel like he's so funny.
Yeah.
Like he could be a stand-up comedian or something.
Yeah.
You know?
It's really
His timing is just so perfect. But yeah, there's the relaxation when I listen to these videos, but I just at the same time I don't want to, you know, like I said, I don't want it to be like a crack addict.
But
that's got
to play its energy out. I was always the opposite opinion. I wasn't on the opinion of restraint, although I went through a period of restraint when I was a Buddhist. It's like that obsession's got to play itself out. You try and stop it short, and there will always be a nagging feeling to do it. It's like if there's a sex addict, it's like, well, bonk as much as you like, then it will eventually run itself out. That energy. If the person then tries to restrain it, it's like that energy is always hiding there in the body. I don't mean to say like if you're a drug addict, go and blow your brains out. That's not quite what I'm saying. That's what people are going to interpret what I'm saying. Yeah. But it's like this hiding feeling of this energy that wants to express itself and do something. And then who's the one that thinks it knows better? Like, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, there's always this question where, you know, there's a desire to do something or this feeling, and then I'm like, no, maybe that's not a good idea, but I guess the energy should be played out.
Yeah, what Ramesh Balsekar used to say, which I really liked, but this could be interpreted in so many different ways. He used to say, in every given moment, do exactly as you feel like doing, knowing there's nobody doing anything. And the way that I interpreted it latterly, although I don't think of it much now, is that the person that thinks it knows what the body should do is an illusion. So it's like the less and less you think you know who you are, the more and the more the body will just function and do what it wants to do. But we're so scared of that because we've been taught for so many years of what we should be, what we think we know we should be. And so it's like the body knows its natural impulse, that then there's a natural impulses in the body, and then the mind comes in and judges whether that's right or wrong. And then the kick to it was knowing there's nobody ever doing anything. It's not really you that's doing it, it's just the way the programming is. So there's the original urges of the body, and then there's this thinking mind that comes in, and sometimes it's practically needed. So sometimes the body might be going to do something really stupid and it's practically needed, but a lot of the time it comes in and thinks that it knows better. And how do we know better? Are we sure we know better? But that resonated with me with Ramesh. Ramesh Balsekar was, I don't know if you know him, he was an Indian speaker. He died in 2009, but he was a translator for Nisargadatta Maharaj. and he taught for 30 years from his apartment. And that line for me really resonated, or for this body really resonated, because there was quite a strong feelings in the body. So it was like for this body that resonated, for other bodies it might not, but the body, there wasn't a really strong intellect here, so the body did know what to do. So in every given moment, do exactly what you feel like doing, knowing there's nobody that does anything. And so this body did know what to do, but it had been taught so many years, the thought patterns had been taught of, don't trust that, you've got to do it like this, you shouldn't do it like that. And so now a lot of the time it's just impulses, and it's a feeling, like an impulse, a feeling comes up, and it's not really inside or outside, it's just an impulse, and then movement happens. And then sometimes the mind interferes, and who knows, some people might say that's being or not being, I don't know. Sometimes the mind comes up and says, that's not a wise move. And then sometimes that's listened to and sometimes it's not.
It's also funny.
Yeah.
You said Ramesh
Balsika. But he's Balsika, yeah.
How do you spell Balsika?
I knew you were going to say that. Hang on, I'm just going to look it up.
Okay.
But he's not so popular now because he latterly spoke really bad English, because he used to take his teeth out. He was like 93 when he died, and he used to take his teeth out, and so a lot of people can't understand him. I spent so much time listening to him that I can understand everything he says, but I posted one of his videos and I realized that most people are like, what the hell? What's he speaking about? Okay, let's see. His famous, there we go. So Balsika is Balsekar, and his famous book, Ramesh Balsekar, was Consciousness Speaks. But there's some videos of him younger, but with an Indian accent and no teeth. It's I can understand why. This is just an example of him speaking. But this is impersonal. This is him younger.
So the individual is a play character. It comes into being. It goes out of being.
Yes. It is a character in this play that is life and living.
Mm-hmm. Now, from the viewpoint of the individual, though,
so this is him latterly. This was maybe when I saw him, 2008. Yeah, maybe a bit before that. Yeah, I used to go and see him in India. But you see how bad his voice is.
The more concerned with their lineage. Yes. That's another thing I found.
And then there's the beeping, but I can hear what he says, and he says, that's exactly what I found, but I can...
He said, I'm going to pursue happiness.
Yeah, it's very hard for people to understand with the noise in the background, and so not a lot of people know about him when I speak of him now, but he used to be very famous non-Advaita speaker, but not since YouTube took over, but before.
Okay.
When it was more kind of word of mouth and people, there wasn't like lots of like a social media around it.
Yeah, thank God for YouTube, huh?
Yeah, it's great. It's opened it up in a whole new way.
Oh yeah, yeah. But you know, he kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you ever watched the movie Kung Fu Panda.
Oh yeah.
The turtle.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his face does look a bit like that. He was such a handsome man when he was younger. He used to be a weightlifter, and he did loads of things in his life. But he's 90. I think in this video that I've got up now, 2008, he must have been like 93. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's written something like 30 books. So there's loads out there.
Well, that was a great talk.
Yeah, that was lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you very much. Nice to speak to you again.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
The non-duality Lady Kim. Yeah. Non-duality reality show. Hello, Laurie.
Hi, Lisa. Can you see me?
Nope. But I haven't got
No.
good enough internet for seeing tonight.
Yeah, the Ustream is not. Your mouth does not match.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, yeah. At Paul's house, it's really good. But I'm at my parents' house, and they bought the cheapest internet. They're not really into the internet.
I gotcha. So yeah, you had said, and I wrote that on here, but it's gone now. What you said with the last guy was so good. That it's not the end of, oh God, I can't, how can I get to that? Can I minimize you? No. Do you see my writing?
Oh, hang on, let me read it out. Oh, I see when you said, can I minimize you? No, you just go, oh yeah, how do you do that? Oh, here we go, you click the message thing. There's no end to this, but there seems to be a point that makes the collapse. Cool. Oh, it's exactly the same for me. Where is it?
Okay. You said there's no end to this. It just keeps, but like my girlfriend Phoebe, who's actually got, this has happened to her. There is a collapse.
Yeah.
Where it's maybe not an end, but it's something where you finally realize that there's no one here.
Yeah. It can be many different ways. It can be an energetic thing, or it can be an intellectual thing, but this still carries on, and the body-mind mechanism's still gonna change loads, and like the body-mind mechanism's still gonna carry on growing and changing and forming. And I think after that collapse, then the body-mind mechanism still goes on reconditioning itself, maybe to become a more functional human being, but it's not somebody's goal anymore. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's never ending, and I think some people call it refinement, but I wouldn't call it anything like that. It's just that you can't ever stop conditioning the body. So say now, if there was a big explosion in my parents' house, say I left the gas on and there was a big explosion, then after that, there will be there'll be a new conditioning that will have risen, and then there will be a deconditioning of that, because that's the way life goes. It sets things up and then dismantles them.
Right, but after the collapse, it's not a big deal anymore.
No, it's not personal anymore.
Right, it's not personal. So you're not still. I won't still be.
But also like we don't know how this happens. We don't know what happens when this body dies. It might start all over again. So I wouldn't get too excited about the collapse. It's an easy thing to get fixated on. Like who is it that wants to be there? Who is it that loves the story of your friend of the collapse? It's just another position, and every position that you get, life will undo it. Even after that supposed collapse happens, there will then be a new position of, oh, you've got to be careful of the gas in houses, and then it will undo that idea. Or there'll be an idea of every time you go to do this or something, you've got to have it like that, and then there'll be an undoing of that idea. The body is always undoing its conditioning, and then doing its conditioning up.
Oh, God.
It's impossible. That's the way life flows. It's just not personal. It's not happening for someone.
Gosh,
but I wouldn't get too excited about this place of the collapse. Like everyone gets that obsession and gets that arrogance, and then it even goes through the arrogance of then including this body mind mechanism of then it's like it then wants to declare its finality.
Yeah.
And why do you think it wants to do that?
Well, for this one is because it doesn't want to keep seeking anymore.
Yeah.
I have I put my iPhone with earplugs in every night, either listening to you or Rupert Sleep, Rupert,
Spira.
Spira, or whoever. Eckert puts me out in no time.
Yeah, it used to put me out well as well, Eckert. Actually, the reason I post
Eckert in, I'm out in 5 minutes. I don't even think I see 5 minutes.
I posted Rupert the other day because in the middle of the night I woke up. Maybe I had jet lag, or I don't know. Maybe I've been traveling. I can't remember what I've been doing. And I woke up and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, and it suggested on my YouTube channel. And I put it on for 10 minutes, and it was such a brilliant talk. It got me really excited. But then after 10 minutes, I was like.
And you shared it.
Yeah, but I shared it because I woke up the next day and I was like, oh my God, I hadn't listened to Rupert in ages. And it was so beautiful what he did. And I didn't listen to the whole thing. It was just 10 minutes of it before I fell asleep. But it was really, really beautiful. He did this whole thing about infinity, the finite and the infinite. Yes. And oh, it was stunning.
Yes, I've listened to it like 3 times.
Oh my God. It was like a painting, like a painting in a museum. It was the most finest piece of art, the way he spoke in those. I can't remember if it was the first 10 minutes or the middle of the video or where it was, but he just kept us about how the finite could never see the infinite and kept moving between, and it was just really beautiful the way he did it. But anyway, we weren't talking about that. We were talking about the one that wants to be definite, that there's a place of it going. And then, because the reason that it wants to do that is because it wants to have some certainty, and even people that say it. So then you'll notice of people when they've woken up, they'll want to have an adamancy, like an adamantness that that's the end. But who would want to say that? And then who's attracted to people saying that?
Oh boy.
It never ends, any of this. It's always moving, it's always moving. But what's going to begin to happen, Laurie, is that brain is going to just stop resisting the movement. And it's happening more and more, Laurie, the more and more I talk to you. And you've just had maybe a bit of a difficult one where you've popped and you've had this big awakening, and then there's been it seep back in again, and that's a painful thing to experience, but you're going to even get tired of that movement. The person will get more and more tired of any position. Any position. There will just be movement left.
Well, I'm realizing, like right now, it's Christmas. There's so much shit to do, and sometimes I'm finding myself just pacing. Like I don't know what to do, where to go. I have no direction lately. It's so messed up. But then all of a sudden, I'll have a burst of, and everything will be done. Boom, done. What?
But it feels like that's the problem, the direction. The problem is the identity with the one that feels directionless. It's the movement inwards, so that the energy's gone into I have no direction. And then it feels like that is solely who you are, rather than there just being everything. And then it's uncomfortable. But there can be a movement back to everything, and still the body has no direction and is not doing its work that it's meant to be doing. And still frustration, but it's no longer you. There is just this movement of this Laurie character that's not functioning well at the moment, or is functioning too much, or feeling frustration. But it's all appearing in this for nobody. You aren't that person that feels like it's directionless. You aren't that person that had the awakening. You are everything. You've always been awoken, Laurie. You've always been all of it. It's just the energy keeps going back into this narrow person. And that might have been what's been happening since the Big Bang. There's been dreams appearing of being a body-mind mechanism experiencing this that's, well, maybe not since the Big Bang, but since humans begun to speak. Before that, maybe you were a rock for 1 million years.
So the once they started to speak is when it got dumbed down into this body.
Yeah, it couldn't have happened, this separation, without the speaking and the thinking. It started to think, and the first thoughts was, the emotion will be described, its environment, and then it had to describe that which was experiencing the environment. And then it began to make up this lie because it was never that which was experiencing this environment. But it began to make up this lie of I'm experiencing it, whereas the body is just a tool to experience. And then it began to, I'm experiencing this, I'm living a life.
So when you realize this, when the collapse happens, does all of that knowledge just come to you? Does all of that knowledge just appear? What you just said about all the past?
Well, no, because most of the time I don't think about this stuff. It's just when in the moment appears, it's like knowing, how do you know how to bake a cake in the moment? You could in one way say, well, it's because of everything that came before. Well, I was thinking more because your mum taught you or something happened in the past. You could say, following a recipe. You could say because of everything. You know how to, and you could say because of everything, you know how to bake the cake. Yeah. Or how to ride a bike. In one way, it's spontaneously happening, but in another way, it's because everything that's ever happened and everything that's going to happen. You can answer it lots of different ways. So there's not really somebody here that retains knowledge, although the brain has a certain functioning. But the brain isn't separate from everything else that's ever happened. The brain is dependent on all the other flow of things. And then in this moment, it just spontaneously appears out of nowhere. In this moment, there's no brain, there's no Lisa, there's no you, there's just all this mass experiencing happening.
That is such a stretch, my God. My mind, when I get off with you, is like swirling.
Well, how now? I like that. How now?
Oh no, brown cow.
How are you? I have to put in that because I'm going to get stuck on how now. How are you beating the heart?
I am not.
But you could say like the heart, you could like look at it as a progression, like the heart grew and putting the food in the body sustained the heart. Like so the heart is dependent on everything that's ever happened. So the functioning of the heart is dependent on everything. And its functioning, its outproduct, the pumping of the blood is spontaneously happening now, but it's dependent on everything. It's dependent on your parents making love, it's dependent on the growth, the food that's put into the body, the circulation of the blood, it's dependent on the cells, it's dependent on the air externally, it's dependent on everything. But in our, I forgot where I was going with that. Brain freeze.
I am so glad I'm not the only one that does that.
I do it all the time.
I know, I get so much crap for it.
But that's exactly how the brain's functioning. It's just like the heart, but we take it personally. The brain, we take thoughts personally.
Right.
We take that action, that activity. Although the brain and the heart really, there's no brain really. Just putting it in limited language.
There's no brain really. Oh God.
Oh, sorry. I went too far. Sorry.
Like the hand, it's moving through this. Well, like, okay, that didn't fly. That still doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. Okay. I guess that's it.
Well, considering I didn't feel like talking tonight, I've done a hell of a lot of talking.
Yeah, you
we really, anything we ever say about anything, it's like, I'm sat there, I'm like, I really don't feel like talking, and then,
yes!
There's no position or anything, it just becomes hilariously funny what this body-mind mechanism does. It's like sex, you go to bed and you're like, no sex tonight, and before you know it, you're bonking like crazy. Like, I'm too tired, I have a headache, oh, okay, that's what we're doing.
Oh, okay. God, I am hoping I'm gonna get to see you in January or February.
That would be lovely in New York. I'm only there for I'm only doing one talk in New York, but we can go for dinner. Perch is going to take me to a show. You're more than welcome to come to the show.
We saw Wicked in September on Broadway.
Oh my God, Wicked is so good. It's such a good musical. I cried my eyes out at that one.
It was so brilliant the way it was written.
Yeah, really good. And really nice twist on it. Like, nothing's ever wicked.
Right.
You never get the bad character, the Wicked Witch of the West, and then it's so explainable. You're like, that's how that happened.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly. I was like, oh my gosh, of course. Oh, I'd love to see it. Because the first time, you don't really... It's better when you see something the second time.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you come, that's what we're going to see. We'll see Wicked again. Is it still on in Broadway? I'm sure it still is. It's fantastic.
In September.
Yeah.
Oh,
and hopefully it'll be snowing. It'll be so much fun if it's snowing.
No.
You don't like the snow? Oh, you got snow there already.
I live in Maine.
And that's...
Actually, it's been pouring all day today, thank God. So the snow has gone down a lot.
How many months of snow do you get?
Oh God, we get buried. But this year we have not. We've had some before Thanksgiving, and then that was completely gone. Now we had some last week, and now that's close to gone. We probably had 10 inches, but it's probably down to, oh gosh, it's probably down to 4 inches now. But today could have been another foot if it rained hard today. If a little bit warm, cooler, and we would have had all snow today.
Wow.
So I'm feeling very blessed.
So you basically just can't go out of the house a lot of the time in the winter?
Well, I can't say a lot of the time because they clear it away. You know,
they're used to it.
Yes, we're totally used to it here. It's not like the place shuts down.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it's really bad, when we have a northeaster, they just, you know, they urge everybody to stay in at the height of it. But you still have to go to work if you work, you know.
Yeah, you still have to crawl through the snow in some way.
And pray that you don't go off the road or somebody else doesn't hit you.
Yeah. Khaleesi's never seen the snow.
Oh, she would love it.
Yeah, I think she would. She'd be absolutely mystified by it at first.
Yeah, oh yes, definitely.
She's seen frost and things on the ground, like, you know, when it's like a thick layer of frost, almost like snow.
But 6-8 inches of snow and jumping in it, oh, she would love it. Throwing her snowballs and catching them in her mouth. I can picture her having a blast. So she flies with you?
No, she's only ever flown on 3 planes from Thailand back to the UK. No, I travel with her by car mostly because when I go outside of Europe, I find someone to look after her. But when I'm in Europe, then I try to just drive with her everywhere.
Right.
Because I think it's a little hard for me also to do the flying, because then when I get to the other side, I've got her big case to carry, and we go to a hotel by taxi.
Right.
So it's much easier if I've got my car, because then I don't need a case, and she can stay in the car when I'm doing talks. It's like a little home for us.
Yeah.
My little car. But she's very cute in the car. I should take some pictures and put it on Facebook. She's very cute. I've got this cute little video of her when I have my old Polo, and she'd sit in the boot, and she has these ears. When you watch this back, you'll see it, but she has these ears in the car. So she normally has really erect ears and really high ears, and when she's in the car, they kind of go halfway down, and she stares out at people, and other people get so excited when they see her because she looks so cute. You see people just waving randomly in other cars at her.
Waving at the dog.
Yeah, and then you can see them pulling little faces, and I'm looking in my mirror so I can see them all doing these things to her, and she just looks at them like...
So she's not your passenger then?
No, I did put her in the boot, but then somebody hit me in the boot, and she's now a little traumatized by being in the boot.
What the hell's the boot?
Oh, the back bit.
The back seat?
No, behind the back seat, the boot. The trunk. Yeah.
The trunk.
Like the trunk has, like, you can take off the lid and then she can still look out of the window, but it's nice contained area for her, because I have a little car, so it's just a tiny little trunk. But then this guy slid and hit me when she was in the trunk, and I was hilarious the way I reacted, because I jumped out and I was like, "My dog!"
Oh
And I got round and I didn't even give a shit if the car was dented. It's only 6 months old at this point or something. And I was just like, my dog, which most probably traumatized her even more. And I lifted up the trunk and she was fine. The car was fine as well, but she now doesn't like going in the trunk. So she now sits in the back seat. And she just sits and pokes me. She sits behind me and then pokes me every so often with her nose. And then I turn my head round, she gives me a little lick. She's so cute.
Oh, so she has quite the memory.
Yeah, well, yeah. She's definitely traumatized by being in the trunk. Because it was quite a slam. But she knows, she associates that crunching with the trunk. And then also I traumatize, rather than being a nice, enlightened, calm person, I was like, my dog!
So she felt all that.
So she felt that trauma as well. I imagine getting around there and being a squished Khaleesi.
Oh, right.
So, because it was one hell of a whack, but it's a strong car.
So you didn't have any effects from it?
Oh, well, now I don't put her in the trunk.
No, you, from that smash.
Oh, no, it was just sound more than anything, actually. And it sent us forward, but I was in with a friend, but it didn't hurt me at all or anything. I've had other ones that have hurt me. But no. But no, it was just... So now I don't put her in the trunk, though, after that.
Yeah, right. Oh.
Squished doggy.
She's remembered, like, the trauma, apparently, when she was small.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. But I see it as a bodily memory, it's like...
Oh.
Like the body remembered to suck the nipples of the mother. It's not like a personal thing, it's just a memory appearing. Like, this body's still traumatized by certain things. The
airplane.
Yeah, the airplane. Well, I've never... Yeah, by the airplane, I'm trying to think of better examples than the airplane. Because the airplane, the first time I went in the airplane, my mum, freaked out. So that was when I was about 10.
Oh.
So that was the first experience. So yeah, things like that, and I'm just things that I'm afraid of. I can't remember them now though.
It does get passed on from the parents. If they freak out when you're young about something, it
carries on. Yeah, and it's the same what I do to Khaleesi. I teach her. She's always watching me for clues of how to react. And I'm not always teaching her, because I'm not thinking about it, the correct reaction in the situation. Like I noticed that because she's not always friendly, if I see her going too close to a young toddler or something, then my body responds, and I've noticed that that's encouraged her to be less friendly because she sees me reacting, and then she thinks, yes, this is a problem.
Right.
But it's like I'm conditioned, and I just can't help it. My body just goes every time she's going towards a toddler. I'm like, danger, danger.
Right. Have you ever heard of the Caesar Milan?
Yeah, I haven't. I really, really like him, but I don't think it's right for a fearful dog. I did use it for a lot, and even he says fearful dogs are the hardest ones to rehabilitate. He's really good, I think, with aggressive dogs. My dog's actually, even though she responds with aggression, she's actually fearful. And I did for a while do what he says, but then my friend started picking up and cuddling her when she was afraid, and he says don't do that, and it actually worked really well. And so I've now taken to when she's beginning to get aggressive towards a human, and Caesar says, do not do this under any circumstance. So when she's getting aggressive towards a human, I pick her up in my arms and I just whisper to her and stroke her, and she does wonders. She goes really limp and relaxed.
Really?
But that's the opposite to what he says. But I think he's really good with dominant aggressive dogs, whereas she's a traumatized, scared dog, really. And so I just scare her more by being over dominant in those situations.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But for years for a year or year and a half, I was doing what he was saying. And then when my friend did that, I was like, oh man, that's so much better. Actually, that would have been my natural response if I hadn't watch teaser.
Right. But you can tell what he's saying, don't ever do, because the dog could bite you if you go to...
Yeah. Oh, not me. No, Khaleesi doesn't bite, but he says don't ever pick her up because he says that that's like reinforcing the behavior and saying to her that she's a good girl for growling and barking.
Oh.
But what we find happens is it just totally relaxes her. And she's already conditioned to respond. And the more that we try and like do it by dominance, the more and more she gets uptight and agitated.
Right.
So we do this and she just goes limp like a baby.
So you're basically giving her love.
Yeah, physical love. Like Caesar, like always says to do the other stuff out of love as well, like not to do it out of anger. Like I really like the way he speaks, and most of the time I would agree. But in her case, I think that she just needs a bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
Like, and so many people dislike her because she's, like if you come to stay, people will tolerate the story that she's a rescue from Thailand for a little while, and then they begin to get offended by her not being nice to her. So then she has to deal with that energy. Like they can't help it. They begin to feel rejected by her. So then they're like, not a nice dog. And you're like,
Right.
oh.
Well, how is she with Paul?
Oh, she's good now, but she's known Paul a long time.
Yeah.
But most people, when she first meets them, she struggles to form a relationship. But that's very typical of street dogs.
Yeah. I'm sure they're very leery of, because they've been abused, I'm sure.
And they're more feral genetically, so they're moving away from humans.
Right.
We've bred them to be more human friendly.
Right. Yeah.
So, you've got feral cats.
Well, I did, and the one that died, the one I had to put down in June, she was feral. I mean, she was born in a feral cat, but my cousin brought her in at 3. Her eyes, there were 5 of them. Their eyes weren't even open yet, and they were held and bottle fed. So we thought, oh, good, we'll have very cuddly cats. Nope.
It's very genetic.
Yeah, when they got older, I mean, she was loving on her turn, but I could not pick her up. She was petrified when I picked her up. Claws would come out.
And I think this is a very genetic thing. If they've been bred on the streets, and they're going to have more the tendency to be away from humans.
Right.
But it's not like we look at it as they don't like us. So I see Khaleesi as so respecting of humans.
Yes, same with mine. Yeah. She was the same way. She was very... But then I have this other cat who was born in a barn. He's a feral cat too. He's
really friendly.
Oh my God, he's like a baby.
Oh.
I carry him like a baby.
Oh.
Totally trusting. He's It's a complete opposite.
Yeah, you really can't tell, can you?
No, you can't. No.
So individual.
Anyway. Okay.
Oh, well, lovely
nice
to talk
to you as always.
Yeah, we went off quite a bit towards the end, but...
We did. Oh, well.
And thanks for offering to read the emails. Maybe next time, Sunday or next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday. Yeah, Sunday I have a Christmas party. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And maybe it's Christmas Day next Wednesday as well. Thursday. Okay, so Christmas Eve, maybe. We'll see. Sometime soon you can read out the questions.
That's right, Christmas Eve. Damn, that's my husband's birthday. Plus we have my mom and dad's Christmas with my kids, and that's going to be out.
Okay, the week after that then.
The week after, I'll be here.
Great. Thanks,
right,
Laurie. Bye.
Thank you. Love you, Lise.
Love you. Bye. Okay, guys. That's enough. 2 hours 18 we've been recording from, and we were sitting for like half an hour before that. That was a big one. Okay, my loves. Love you very much. See you on Sunday. Oh! I'm doing a live talk on Sunday, so I won't see you on Sunday. Okay, see you next Wednesday. Bye.